Y'all already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. The worst parts of being locked up. The absolute worst things. When you think of being locked up, you think of violence. Think of all these different things because, well, if you haven't been locked up, that's what you see on TV. And yes, even though that does play a major part in why incarceration sucks so very much, it's not the main things. The main things are the everyday things that you lose once you get incarcerated. Today we're going to get into those, to the worst things about being incarcerated. And I'm going to get into why I chose to do this video today. And I hope that y'all listen. Hope that y'all choose to stay free and live your best life. Y'all know I done seen it. Y'all know I done lived it. So let's relive it. So I get a call this morning from my brother. And this guy is actually not my blood brother. He is my best friend in the world. We've been side by side since we were young. We've been locked up together. We did a lot of crazy things together when we were younger. When I caught my 10 years, he was my co-defendant. We were actually together the night everything happened. To say the least, he is my brother. Like, we may not share the same blood, but there's been times that he has shown me through his actions that he loves me, that I'm family. He's put his life on the line time and time again to defend mine. And for that, you know, I'm forever grateful. I wouldn't be here today telling these stories had he had never been born and had he not had my back in some situations that I found myself in life. So when you hear me mention Philly, that's his nickname, or Brian, he's family to me. Everybody knows, it goes without saying, that that's my brother, even though we don't share the same blood. He has shown me traits and loyalty and just characteristics that I've never seen from anyone else. I've never met anyone else that thinking is so close to the way I think. We don't talk a lot, but he called me this morning and I answered the phone. You have a collect call from an offender at Buckingham Correctional Center. That right there, it's my brother Brian. There's his name, state number, where he's housed at. You can reach him through JPay. But he hit me up this morning and he's telling me, he said, I'm in a dark place, man. I said, what's wrong? Something happened? He's like, nah, man, nothing. I could hear his voice cracking. Like he was choked up. I said, what's wrong? He said, I'm just in a dark place. He got locked up a couple days before Christmas, 2015. He got sentenced to 9 years for selling drugs. Didn't get caught with a lot of drugs, small amount, but it was a distribution charge, and they gave him 9 years. So he is now 5 years into a 9-year sentence. This December will make 6 years into a 9-year sentence. And as we got to talking, he said, I feel like I'm going crazy. All this revolves around the worst things you're going to deal with while incarcerated. And I knew how he felt as soon as he said it. I knew all the emotions he was going through. I know what it feels like to feel like there's a ton of bricks sitting on your chest. You walk out that cell one day and you feel so discombobulated that you don't know if you go left, you don't know if you go right. You can't focus on working out, reading a book, watching TV. And what has happened is he's gotten to a point in his life where he's fed up. And I explained that to him. I said, you think you're having a nervous breakdown when in reality what you're experiencing is a breakthrough. I had to reach that point to reach the point I'm at today. While incarcerated, you are going to lose more than your freedom. You're going to lose every option other than breathing. All the options that you have on a day-to-day basis in everyday life, they are gone. You have to wait on the phone, wait on the microwave, wait to go eat the food they feed you, lock down, wait to be let out. Everything is a wait game. You've lost all your options. A lot of guys experience this for the first time and they catch on to, hey, I don't like this. This isn't for me. Life of crime. I'm good. Y'all can have it. Thank you, but no thank you. Took me a long time to get to the point to where he's at today. We talked about his kids, how much he misses his kids. That's a major thing. If you're a parent, a mother, a father, a grandparent, you really don't understand how much you love those people, need those people every day, until you are stripped of the option of having them around. He's got these two beautiful kids, a little boy and a girl, that have both grown up without their dad. Son's a great young man. His daughter, beautiful young girl. And, you know, he feels like she's following in his footsteps and trying to be like him. And there's nothing he can do to stop it. These are the things you don't want to ever have to go through. Your children being out here going down the wrong road or falling in with the wrong crowd, and you trying to give them advice and thinking they're going to take it from somebody that's locked up. When in reality, if they're running with a bad crowd, you being locked up just kind of solidifies their whole gangster persona. My dad's in prison. It's just another patch on the jacket of, look at me, I'm really about that life. I was able to talk to him for a little while, get his head back clear. And I told him, I said, my best advice to you is to focus on you. Don't spend all this time focusing on what you're going to do when you get out. You need to focus on what you need to do day to day while you're in there to ensure, A, that you get out when you're supposed to, and that, B, when you get home, the negative thoughts and the negative behavior have left you, or you will end up back in there. Prison can make you feel like an animal. You cry out to the guard, hey, I need medical, and they keep walking. When you go to the guard, you know, what's up, I need to see the counselor about something to do with my paperwork or this or that, and they say, yeah, and a month from now, nothing's happened. It fills you with this rage and this frustration of just being another guy, another number, another inmate that gets overlooked every day. And it'll cause guys to act out. So I would definitely put the feeling of hopelessness, being lost, loss of control, loss of options as number one on my list, because you're gonna deal with all that. Anybody that's ever done any time, ever been locked in a box, locked in a cage, knows that when that door shuts, boom, clang, it's just you in that cell, and it gets quiet, you sit down in that bunk, just sheets, you roll of toilet paper, the door's locked, you can't get out, you just look around like, oh man, how did I end up here? Why did I do that? That's why you think before you act. Always weigh your options. And not weighing your options, with me, the way I function is, if there's a negative side to something, I don't mess with it. There is no option in the matter. If it's negative, I don't want no parts of it, because I know what comes along with negativity. I know what comes along with taking risk on things that I shouldn't be taking risk of. Remember this, as a criminal, somebody commits crimes, you got to get lucky every single time. The police only got to get lucky once. Think about that for a second. No problem admitting to the fact that prison saved my life. I can say that with supreme confidence. If I was to see the judge or the prosecutor that sentenced me to my time, there was a time when I was very angry and I was mad at them, like it wasn't fair. But if I was to see them today and I had a chance to say something, I would only need to say two things, two words: thank you. They put me there and it allowed me to put myself here. It allowed me to find out who I really was when I was in those moments of being tested, when I was scared. You know, fear can be one of your biggest allies. Fear can be one of the things that keeps you alive. To anybody, even with the military vets and Marines and, you know, Army guys, Navy and Air Force, all them guys, if they've ever been in a situation to where you know you could lose your life and your fear kicks in and your adrenaline kicks in, that will be what keeps you alive. It's not always your instincts, but that fear, that need to live, that need to survive, that I will not die today feeling inside of you is what keeps you alive. I learned that about myself. I learned what I was capable of when it came to being afraid or it came to knowing that I had to do something. I also learned what not to do. I also learned that I hated that place more than anything I'd ever hated in my life. And the worst part of all of it was I had become complacent with being there. I had gotten so used to being incarcerated, to being locked up, to going through the day-by-day routines, that I started to lose grip on the outside world and the life that I once was blessed to have, that I took for granted. I met a lot of guys, and I know I should put that on the shirt. I met a lot of guys. I can make a female brand for that. But I met a lot of guys that I learned from. You can learn a whole lot from a man that has nothing to lose and a man that is never, ever going home. If this man has come to terms with that, accepts it, and then decides to give you advice on life, it might be something you want to listen to. Like I've said with the options thing, and I spoke on this again, I've spoken on it in the past. I had a lifer tell me one time, the greatest gift that you have in this world next to your life is your options. You do not realize what you have before you. You do not realize all the blessings you have every single day that you take for granted. If you woke up living in your car this morning, you still had the option of opening the door, getting out, and getting fresh air. You still had the option of where am I going to go today? You still got the option of looking for a job, saving up money, getting an apartment, maybe finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You have all those options. You have the options that if you feel comfortable living in your car, going to McDonald's, getting the number 3, sitting in the back seat, eating, and then laying down and going to sleep. You don't get none of that. You don't get to choose, pick and choose the people you want to be around. You don't always get to choose the people you would prefer to have as friends. Sometimes the friends you end up with are pretty much the best that place has to offer. Which sometimes these can be terrible people, have done terrible things, but that's the best the prison has to offer. It's some guys that got life sentences for murder charges. I remember walking through the prison one day. Actually, I was on the yard, and I had Beanie Siegel, Feeling the Air, playing in my headphones, right? Which I would do a lot when I was by myself or I was in my thoughts. And I remember just walking the track, big dusty ass track with this patch of grass in the center of it, basketball court spread out here and there, softball field, handball, and I couldn't hear anything because I had my headphones in. So I walked over to the center of the field and I just stood there and I looked at all the men walking around talking. I looked at the track, I looked at the guard towers, looked at the razor wire, looked at the fences, and then I looked past the fences at the woods, the grass, the trees. And in that moment, I realized just how much I had fucked my life up. Excuse the language. I realized how much I had messed my life up. I'm looking at guys walk right by me that I've seen on the news. I'm watching guys walk by me that got 3, 4 life sentences that are responsible for several murders walk right by me. And because of who I chose to be in society, This is who I'm deemed fit to be around. This is my punishment. This is what I've gone out and got for myself. This is currently my legacy. If I was to die today, you know, if I'd have died that day on that rec yard, I would have died as, hey, wasn't he locked up? That would have been the legacy I left behind. I remember telling myself, once I get on the other side of that fence, I'm never coming back in here. And I'd heard a lot of guys say it, but rather than say it to everybody, I actually said it to myself, and I meant it. Because I missed what was going on out there. It got to a point I hated calling home on the holidays. It's a terrible feeling. A great feeling, but a terrible feeling. It's great when you call and your family is passing the phone around and you know it's Christmas Day and they're unwrapping presents. Your mom, your brother, your sisters, you know, they're all together in one environment. The nephews and nieces are there. And you're being passed around on a phone. And then one of those family members has a breakdown while talking to you and starts crying. And it went from you being excited to be able to call home on Christmas morning because that's the only thing you can do. There ain't a single present under that tree from you. There ain't a single present under that tree for you because that part of life don't exist for you no more. The one thing you do have is the gift of being able to call home. And you make that phone call. Hey, Mom, Merry Christmas, I love you. What y'all doing today? Oh, yeah, what y'all cooking? Man, that sounds good. Hey, let me talk to my brother. What you doing, man? You all right? You being good? We talk to my sister. Hey, what's up with you? We talk to my sister. Hey, my nephew's there? I never even seen him. Let me talk to him. And they put him on the phone. And then at some point, somebody starts crying. When are you coming home? Brother, we miss you. We love you. And you went from already being depressed because here it is Christmas morning and you're incarcerated. You have to walk out first thing in the morning and look over at the cell next to you where this convicted murderer was coming out. Look over down here and you got a sex offender coming out that cell. Look over there, you got a guy that robs banks. You got all these different men coming out, and that's the first thing you see on Christmas morning. So already it's a bad start because on a day where you should be sharing it with the people you love, it's just another day inside the prison. And then you get the joy of that phone call, and then that joy turns to pain when you realize that people care about you and that life is passing you by. That on Christmas morning, your call just went from being a positive thing to making someone cry because they miss you. They miss your dumb ass. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You don't get to walk up and say, hey, look, man, remember about 6-7 years ago I got sentenced in court? I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I learned my lesson. Y'all can let me go now. I'm good to go. It's not how it works. You will go in on the date that you get arrested, and you will come out, if you come out, on the day that's on that piece of paper, not a day sooner. You will not. Somebody asked, and I've gotten this a lot, did 10 years feel like a long time? Yes, 10 years felt like a very long time. Where were you at 10 years ago? How much has happened in 10 years? How many people did you lose? For some of y'all, you might have been two, 3 marriages in 10 years. Yes, 10 years is a very long time. But for me, it was just enough time. It was the amount, I think it was the right number for what I needed to let go of that facade, to let go of who I used to be. I've seen so much bad, so much pain, so much sadness, so much anger, and small amounts of good in that 10-year period that it made me want to be a better person. When you're surrounded by monsters and just messed up people, there's going to be times where you're going to be tested and you're going to have to fight that monster. This might be a real monster. Somebody that does not have a problem with taking your life. Someone that's number one goal when they wake up today is to kill you. When you have to fight those type of demons, it'll make you second guess yourself. It'll make you look at yourself in the mirror in a whole new manner, especially when it's over with and you've done something to somebody that you didn't want to do. You survived it. You won the battle, but you're incarcerated, so you're losing the war. Once you are removed from those situations and released back out into this world, if you didn't take what happened in there seriously, if you didn't reflect on the things that went down, you don't have some sort of a conscience, you didn't get nothing out the lesson of why they locked your dumb ass up, don't even leave. Don't leave. Don't even waste your family's time. Don't waste the court's time. Don't waste everybody's time. If you have no intentions of doing good, just walk outside and start kicking the first car you see in the jail parking lot. Throw your fist straight through the windshield of the first car you see sitting in the jail parking lot, and go ahead and take your dumb ass right back inside. I got tired. One of the biggest problems with me and being locked up, I was tired of seeing my people hurt. I was tired of knowing I was needed and I couldn't be there to help. I knew that if I was there and I was out there, there would be something I could do. But because of my actions, my choices, this is my life. This is my cell. This is my legacy. This is how I'm living. I'm not doing it for the gram. Not doing it for social media. I'm doing it because I did something and I felt that's what I had to do. When in reality, I didn't grasp the greatest thing I had in this life, my options. We all have those options. A lot of people say, I sell drugs because I can't get a job. That's my only option. Nah, not true. My homeboy Herb, if you're watching, shout out Herb, grew up in Mosby Court, one of the most notorious projects out here in Richmond. A place where little kids are killed by gunfire every year. A place where the cops get called to a body laying on the sidewalk and no shooter, and unsolved cases are just a normal thing. Herb lived with his grandmother and his uncle growing up. For whatever reason, didn't have his mom and dad in the house. Herb was locked up. He was a dope boy. He was in and out of the system. And then one night, Herb's uncle stabbed his grandmother to death because she wouldn't let go of her pocketbook, right in Mosby. She's sitting in the kitchen. The uncle's got a crack addiction, needs some money to get high, is fiending, tries to take the old woman's purse. She won't let go of the purse. He picks up a kitchen knife and stabbed that old woman to death repeatedly in the kitchen. Then took her purse, ran out the house, and went on down the street and bought crack cocaine. Even with all that happening in Herb's life, Herb being a young black man growing up in the projects, selling drugs, having his uncle kill his grandmother, Herb decided he wanted more. Got on in a carpet company, not making much money. Today, he has moved from Richmond many years ago. Owns a house out in Texas. My first time heading out to Cali, I stopped and stayed the night at his house, and this man's got a saltwater pool in his backyard. Big, beautiful home. Because he didn't get stuck in the rut of, I'm from the projects. I've been dealt a shitty hand. I'm just going to get the pack and a pistol and end up in prison. Herb saw what was going on around him, disconnected himself from the streets, found him a job, made a career out of it, started his own company, and moved on. He never had to do them 10 years. He didn't let the death of his grandmother, destroy his life. He didn't let the not having a mom and dad destroy his life. He didn't let the loss of the uncle also. This guy got messed up on crack. I can't say he was a good person because he stabbed his grandmother, Herb's grandmother to death repeatedly. But I can, say that from what Herb said, before he got on the drugs, he was never like that. So he lost this person also, which was once a family member. You got to love you before you love anybody. Because you're going to realize how much you truly do love people and how much you really do miss them. once they shut that gate behind you. Very, very seldom do you run across men when you're locked up that tell you they're going to get out and do bad. That tell you, if I'm released today, I'm going to get right back out there and get back to what I was doing. Believe it or not, I was once one of those people. Before I caught the charges that ultimately sent me away for a decade, I believe I've been out 42 days. I'd just been released from Philadelphia's House of Corrections on State Road. And my cellie I was in there on a probation violation. Had been sat down for a while. They kept dragging it out, rescheduling me, sending me back, bringing me back, rescheduling me for another 3 months from now. So I've been in here a while sitting on a violation. And it was almost like my cellmate knew. He told me, he said, "You're going home tomorrow." Young black dude from North Philly. We clicked real good, man. That was my main man. His crazy part is his last name was Williams also. So when they would bring mail by, they're like, "Williams, you got mail." Both of us would hop up and have to see which one it was. He'd be like, "Man, it's for you." And I'd be like, "Man, damn, it's for you." But he told me the night before I went to court for the last time, he said, "Boy, I feel like you're going home tomorrow." I said, "Yeah." I said, that's what it is, man. I ain't really want to get my hopes up. And he was like, "What you gonna do when you get out?" This is how ignorant I was. This is how stupid I was. I said, "I'm gonna do what I've always done." He's like, "What you mean?" I said, "I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna get a pistol, and I'm gonna get the pack. I'm gonna get right back to what I was doing before I got locked up. Just because I got locked up don't mean nothing. I'm gonna continue to do what I was doing. Next time I'm not gonna get caught." And he was like, "You tripping, man. This dude has been sentenced. He's waiting to go to Camp Hill, and then Camp Hill's like where you start off at. Then he's waiting to leave there and head to the next prison. Camp Hill's like receiving." And he's looking at me like, and he didn't say it, but when I thought back on it that day when I got released, the look he gave me was a look of like disgust and "Are you stupid?" We didn't really talk much after I said that. He was like, "Word." Just kind of nodded his head, probably thinking, "Man, I thought this dude was all right. This dude's a whole entire moron. What I'd be given to go home tomorrow, but I'm headed off to prison. This dude's talking about he's gonna get out there and do the same thing." That 10 years, boy, it did something. It woke something up inside of me that had always been there. It allowed me to find me. It allowed me to learn what's most precious in life, what's really worth fighting for. It showed me what I like and what I don't like. It showed me what I love and what I dislike, what I hate. I was sick, to say the least, 42 days later when they put them handcuffs on me. They ran up in the house. We were staying off Greenway in Philly, over near 70th, over near Gould. They raided the crib first thing in the morning. Been out 42 days. I done came back up to Virginia, caught a robbery and malicious wounding charge up here. Got robbery, homicide looking for me everywhere. Somebody that we thought we trusted, somebody that was close to us, called the police and told them exactly where we were at. First thing in the morning, they blocked the whole block off. Put police cars at both ends. U.S. Marshals. Philadelphia police is everywhere. Paddy wagon sitting right there, right out front on Greenway. They bring me out, take me and book me. I make my way back to the House of Corrections, waiting to be flown from Philly to VA to stand trial for these charges. And I saw my cellmate. He was still waiting to go to prison. And I remember when I walked in, he looked at me and I looked at him, and he just kind of, I understand now what that look was. That look was, you're disrespecting every one of us that want to go home. You're looking for something and you're going to get it this go round. And I did. Never again. The point of today's video was to to open eyes, to give you a glimpse into more than just the violence, more than just the booty bandits and the prison rape and the hunger and all these things you're going to come across while you're locked up. The point of today's video was to try to help y'all become me, help y'all become Herb, help you live your best life before you ever have to live your worst, to help you avoid going to a place that so many people glorify, that so many people that call themselves being on a platform glorify. My goal has and will always be to help the next man through sharing my past, my experiences, and reliving what we got going on. Those are the facts. Views are great, but I don't think there's no greater feeling than knowing that one man can change the world, or that one man can save so many. That is why I went through everything I went through. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that God had a bigger purpose for me, and that all that would lead me to exactly where I am today. Because had I done just one thing different, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be talking to y'all, and y'all wouldn't be listening. I'm glad to be able to do this. And that's what it is. I'm going to drop a second video today. It is Monday. We are on the grind. So I'm going to get this one to y'all, and I'll get y'all another one out today. We're going to do 2 on a Monday. But anyway, please listen to what I got to say. But these institutions, these jails, detention centers, these prisons, they're all just crazier worlds inside this already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do. Salute.